That's phone call one. That's another call. I almost want to keep a tally sometimes. People bug me like, why aren't you answering?
Because you're not knowing things going on in life. I remember that, engine that guy was talking about the other day, was the one that got so much piston clearance in it. Back then, I'm wondering if that isn't what they're hearing noise more than it is lifters. Not to say it didn't have a lifter probably.
Ready for me?
Get out of your way.
Well, that's what I hate. They'll bring up stuff. I'm like, I can't remember that. It's been years. Like, oh, it was just last year. I was like, oh,
Yeah, years ago.
a lot happens.
Yeah. But it definitely didn't have lifter noises, what they was trying to say it was. The first go around, but it was, you know, some intakes, performance intakes, especially sheet metal stuff. You hear the tinny sound up in them.
Yeah.
That's what it sounded like. It had quiet exhaust on it, but quiet enough exhaust on it.
All yours. For the record, viewers, when you're hearing that noise and it sounds like a clanking, that's kind of what Gary's talking about. It's actually the dyno. See, there's a spline on the back, and it has to have some kind of clearance where it could slip through. But as the engine runs, it's not continuously smooth movement. Every pulse is kind of a vibration. So it clang, clang, clang on each one of those splines. You never hear it in your car because the torque converter absorbs that. This just doesn't. So you hear rattling. That's not the engine. That's the dyno. There might be rattling. I don't know. I mean, we're just getting started, but well, not started, but you get the idea.
Sitting there thinking back, I would have been in my 30s now that I think about it. Remember early on doing my race stuff. Because I started this business when I started. And that was the first few years.
camera here in a second.
Aren't you live?
Yeah. As a note, several of you said, why is it so quiet? We don't really talk, we just work. We talk when we're not working. This is work. So, but anyway, this is John Elford's cam. This is the one that's up.
Rexford Garrison says, I don't understand how the lifters aren't a problem for getting the cam in and out. I had the same question. It turns out that on LS's, they got some sort of gizmo in there that actually pops the lifters off the cam so you can slide it in and out. The boss over there can tell you better.
Yeah. So whenever we turn the cam over, for LS's, there's lifter trays. They're these plastic devices. That's what keeps the lifters from rotating. But they're a snug fit. So whenever you turn the cam open, the lifter will actually, so it's holding like this, it will actually pop up into it. It's still grabbing hold on the very bottom, so it doesn't go jiggling all out. But once it's out of the way, the cam can come out. If the trays were really worn out, then it'd be a problem. But they're not. That's how LS guys can change cams so fast, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest thing ever. It is faster to change them on it. Also, the easier part, you notice all I do is torque down the bolts for the rockers, that's it. So on a small block Chevy or a Ford or whatever else, what you have to do is you have to find zero, and you have to go like a half turn or 1.5 turns or 3 1/4 turns or quarter turn, preload, whatever you want. You really don't do that with this. All that's set with your push rod. So as long as you got the right push rod length, you torque them down, you're done. So it's much, much faster. I know if you're used to LS's you're used to small block Chevys, Fords, pretty much anything else, you'll be like, wow, I never knew it was so easy. And now you see why everybody's in LS fan. But for the record, they don't really make more power. I will say it again, because I have a small block Chevy mule that is made 652 on one cam. And this one's now on, will be 23 and finally get there. I should also point out too, these heads flow 380, it's made 660's best power. So if you look at the small block Chevy, those heads flow 330 and it made 652. So it ain't using the extra air that it has. I know some of you are already typing, well, that hydraulic roller is not the same as a solid roller. Cam's a cam, it's just opening the valves. So the benefits on the LS though is it doesn't float on the hydraulic roller stuff because their valve trains typically weighs less. Although I should point out this one actually doesn't, because these are 11-degree Promax heads, so that valve is actually pretty long. So they weigh about the same weight as like a 202 small block Chevy valve. But anyway, there you go. I'm sure you get some comments on that. I'm just here for the testing anyway, right? This one's about buttoned up, ready to go. Thank you, Scott, for reading that, by the way. Scott's here. He's that Smokin' Bandit barbecue guy. He brought us some ribs today. And, of course, they're delicious. Brought us famous hot sauce, and thanks to the people that bought the hot sauce from. There's He's a good guy who does support Oklahoma stuff. I think Gary's recycling right now, but once he gets back, he'll make some tools.
Why don't you walk out there and I'll read one of those comments and make it a respond.
By the way, Gary's famous trick is I usually turn on the engine to make sure it builds oil pressure, pump up the lifters. He likes to turn on the ignition while I'm doing that to make it jump.
Well, CS2 LLC says, appreciate you guys for doing this for us. Great data and incredible information. Barefoot Kane says, I use extendable magnets and clothespins to hold up the lifters. Works in SBC, BBC, SBL, and others too.
We'll have to try that sometime. We're going to fire this thing.
I don't know what it is without looking at the box.
No, it's not plugged in.
Yeah, it was grounding itself out up there and the wire was smoking. That's what got my attention.
You want me to turn it on?
Yeah. Yep.
You see what happened was the electrical power wire took us to ground because we forgot to hook that up. Yeah, we make mistakes.
I went in the room. Oh, I guess I'm involved in that. Turn that fan switch back on, Eric.
Ready?
Yeah.
Which fan is that?
It's just, no, it's just this switch here.
They're all these super close stuff. And the design is so old from the 70s, it's all right out of Star Trek. Crack screws. Nope. But you know, now it's a classic design. Yeah, I think it, no, this
Try to explain.
switch.
We're really close to making a pool because the temperatures are finally the same. But right as we're getting ready to do that, the water pump side is not working because we probably popped the relay again because when it was hanging down, it kept grounding itself on the intake manifold when we first started because we forgot to hook it up. So that's what's going on. So it was working for a while, the water pump was, and I think it's because we left it on trying to get the temperatures correct, and I think it just overdid it. So that's what we're working on now.
I'm not sure if I got a relay around here. Trying to think if I got one where I might have one.
What fuel are they using? 110 race fuel?
Yeah, it's 110 octane. You read them, I'll answer them.
That was from HP Junkie 69.
If you have a question, go ahead and ask, and Scott will read them to me and I'll answer them. Well, I've got a second to wait for figuring out how to get this water pump to stay on.
Everybody wants to know who makes the best barbecue.
Scott's is pretty good, but he won't, hopefully he don't take offense to this, but I like my best is Burnco. It's in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's actually in Jinx, because they had a Tulsa location, but it caught on fire. They used to have to, you would have to get in line like at 9 o'clock in the morning, and they didn't open till like 11. And they ran out of food by like 1.
He's been sniffing race fuel. Mine's better. Are you checking the spark plugs at all?
Don't plan to, because I'm afraid, that's a great question. I'm afraid if I change anything, one of the competitors, probably the only one, is gonna complain that it was altered before they got it. So no, nothing is getting changed as far as that goes.
How much total spark advance?
The great question, so in initial testing, we had the Texas Speed Stage 2, and this is the Demon carburetor we've always ran. This air-fuel ratio is between 12.5 and 12.8. Didn't touch that, but because it's kind of still a little on the richer side, I guess I need to move this way.
Yeah.
What I did was I tried 29 degrees and went to 30, and they gained maybe 3 horsepower, so we just left it at 30. Am I worried about it at all? Not at all. But they just made more power there.
RevSearch says race fuel smells like da bomb. I think he's seen too many Apocalypse Now movies. So.
It actually does smell good though. It smells way better than pump gas, I'll tell you that. So like you burn pump gas in this, just doesn't matter. It smells like crap. You burn race gas, it smells like racetrack to me. It's like bring home the good feeling.
How does that compare to dittos when they used to make dittos in school back in the 70s and 80s?
I never did that, so.
You guys missed out. Those dittos smelled good.
Leftover sockets.
What size headers are being used?
These are 1 3/4.
Thank you, Trevor.
I should point out too, one of the competitors, this is after the contest is over, and I want you to get confused that it's gonna happen during the contest, but one of the competitors is actually sending headers, and I think they're gonna be here tomorrow, and after all the cam testing's done, we're gonna change headers to see whether that affects power or not.
Race fuel and Klotz oil is the best. There we go. They sound, bottle, racetrack, smell as, oh,
You know what I did with that?
I think they should bottle racetrack, smell as cologne.
Do not.
We need to go get one, I guess, because I don't have another one.
Do they have them at the parts store here?
That's what I figured, I'd just run and go get one.
Randy says you're gonna appreciate just going back to porting after this crap.
I love porting. I want you to understand that. Because I put on, I have earbuds. I will put on my earbuds and I will just listen to a book. Currently, I listen to Demon Copperhead. Yeah, that's what it's called. And anyway, I just listen to books and grind. So as long as my mind's not thinking totally about grinding for the next 8 hours of the day, things go pretty smooth. So it doesn't bother me necessarily. I can give good recommendations too. There's stupid shit my dad said. That book is, if you want to laugh, that's 4.5 hours long. You can play it with your teenage kids to adult kids in the car on a car ride. Hilarious. That guy, interesting story. That author, he wrote that book, got famous from that, and he's actually the producer for Abbott Elementary School, which is, it's neat. So he went from being like flat broke, and his stories are amazing, to being famous. That's a good book recommendation. There's some Stephen King one. I can't remember if it's The Institute, which is only like 2 years old, but he referenced Enid, Oklahoma. And for those that don't know, this town's like next to nothing. And the legend for how it became Enid, because I also saw the name of a kid in The Walking Dead called Enid, but the legend goes like Enid was this way. This is like, they had a land run and someone stopped here and they set up a settlement. And the way the legend goes is the Dine sign was hung backwards, so it was Dine. And if you spell Dine backwards, it's Enid. But Enid's in the middle of nowhere, so I have no idea how Stephen King picked this up. This town has got some of the weirdest things you could ever imagine. So I grew up here, went to high school here. If I was an author and could write worth anything, I would write about the weird crimes that were committed here that are never reported. They were reported, but no one made a big deal of them. But there were like, I want to say from my high school, at least probably 6 kids that murdered people. So I know it sounds strange. Anyway, what else? The questions they got? I'm sure they want to hear about that.
Oklahoma is the cultural center of the universe. They did want to know if you were going to do a book on these pools.
Yeah, so here's how it goes. This thing's going to hit me and bother me. But I'm taking all the LS testing that I've done, not just with the camshafts, which will be the 23, and actually I'll talk about one of those in a minute. But I'm taking all the camshafts that was done, all the different sets of cylinder heads, which currently right now I've done the stock 823s, the AFR Enforcer LS3s, the ProMax small bore LS3. These are the ProMax large bore LS3s, and I still have BR3s heads to go. Once those are all done, which probably is going to be November, I'm going to put it all in the book and hopefully be available by December. Although you can pre-order it now on my online store. I think it's like $100, which you're like, man, that's expensive. That book's got to be this thick because you got 23 different cams tested on it. You're going to have at least 5 sets of heads. There's some more intake manifolds that still need to get tested. The headers, so pretty much everything. So yeah, that's going to be a big book. Anyway. By the way, the reason why we're paused is because Gary's running to the parts store to get another relay. So hopefully the water pump will go, and then you have to watch us try to warm this up again, which takes forever. It's not as easy as it seems. And tomorrow I'm going to move the camera back to where the dyno console is, because currently there's a GoPro recording the dyno console anyway, just so you can see what we're doing most of the time. Because it takes us, as you can see from the video, about 20 minutes to change a cam, and then about 20 minutes waiting for this thing to get to the right temperatures to make a pool. What I mean by that is we're trying to get to 160 on oil, 160 on water, then we run it, and that's your run. If there's a hiccup, we'll do it again. There's yours.
And then something breaks and it takes 2 hours to fix it.
Yeah, this won't probably take that long. And we caught it right before the run because it went from like 163 to right to 170 and like lickety split. Anyway.
See if there are any other questions. Love your content. Best engine guy on YouTube.
I don't know about that. There's probably better people.
That was from Uncle Tony's Garage.
I appreciate you, Uncle Tony, but if I'm the best one, then there's a low bar. A low bar.
Hey, Uncle Tony. Hey, Tony, have you ever considered pitching my barbecue sauce?
Really should. Support the Oklahomans. Because like the only thing that we make in Oklahoma are people angry and barbecue sauce and food.
That's true. That's very true. Okay, we're getting lots of laughs, high vacuum restricted intake, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, someone asked that one, and that's a good one. Several people said, I wish you took a recording of the engine vacuum at idle. Unfortunately, no, and let me tell you why. See this carburetor here? It's great, but it has no vacuum ports. And the intake manifold, if I was thinking correctly, I would have drilled and tapped this manifold so we could hook it. It goes right here, it's just this plug right here. Go right into it, we could record an intake manifold vacuum the whole time. I didn't, so there's no reading on that. However, when you're hearing it idle, it's typically about 900 RPM. Although I want to say one of them, I think it was Luke Simeon's, we had an idlement like 700.
Yeah, I've been watching. It's generally between 950 and 1,000. Let's see. Oh, Germany's watching.
Well, thank God, I love Germany. I'll go back in a minute. You guys, this country is amazing. There's a lot of lessons America can make from that one, like they don't tip there, and they don't have to, and the people work faster, and I appreciate that so much better. Wish we didn't have tipping here. Yeah.
Well, I agree with you, but they get paid more. Oh, here we go. It's one for me. Ice Tech 6 says, what is that sauce called again? Meant to order some.
It is Smoking Bandit Barbecue.
There you go.
And by the way, he's not paying me to say that.
I'm not. I offered to. He wouldn't take any money.
Made in Oklahoma, no need.
Was the backyard tornado shelter invented in Oklahoma?
I don't know about that, because I don't know if you've ever been in Oklahoma, because if there's a tornado, we actually, I know this may sound shocking, we technically don't go to storm shelters until it's literally like at your house. We like to stand outside and try watching it.
That's true. We had one come within a mile of the house. We just sit out there and watched and watched and watched. And if it was going to come our way, we'd just duck into the shelter. Otherwise, you know, we like to watch the debris float up into the air.
So, and that's another thing. I taught for 14 years at elementary school. We had to do a tornado drill every time. There was never a tornado when I taught any of those 14 years. So we're even close to one where we had to use the actual drill.
Yep, AFR 12.5 to 12.8. Somebody repeated that for you. Smoking Bandit at Crest Foods. That's true. If you live in the Oklahoma City area, you can go buy it at Crest. Who do you think will win? I think he should not say that and just let the numbers fall where they fall.
I really don't know.
Actually, you know, here's a great idea. Write it down on a piece of paper, put it in an envelope, and I'll read it for him.
I don't want to do that anyway, but it's weird because if you look at the specs, some of them are so close, but then they look at the power and averages, they're just not. That goes to load design, which is really hard to describe. I know the computer said that the average, the person that was supposed to have the most average was supposed to be David Beiser. He wasn't. He's not even in the top 3, I don't even want to think. The one that the computer thought would win would be NK Performance. It hasn't ran yet. So, who knows?
Guy wanted to know, he thought it was the original sauce you liked best, but you liked, was it the hot?
Actually, the hot or the mild. The mild one, or sorry, the medium one, I guess, for you
Okay.
guys.
And basically I got 3 flavors. The original is hickory. The warm, which was my failed attempt at making a hot, is actually smoked jalapeno. And then the hot is basically cayenne. And I just took my original and stuffed so much cayenne until I got it as hot as I could without really stepping on the flavor. Tornado drills at Fort Sill. Bobby from NK Performance is here.
Oh, Bobby.
Bump stick
The
back.
computer says yours might win.
Oh, I think we need a trophy. Eric says he hadn't thought about that.
Well, I mean, I thought about it, but then I thought, I ain't got time for that. That's what I thought.
I think we need a scepter that's made out of a camshaft so we can crown King Camshaft Picker. If somebody will give me a little spider gear, I'll weld one on an old camshaft for you guys. Who's going to be king shit of picking cams? Let's see. Joshua Wooten's here.
Good to see you, Josh. He's a customer and a subscriber and a channel member.
Ooh, Ice Tech is ordering 4 now. Great, I'll get them out first thing in the morning. Are the wider LSA doing better? Do we know yet?
I could say the winner right now, the one that's leading, he is not wider, he's narrower. But that's interesting. Joe Carroll right now, I think, is in the lead. I'll look to make sure at the end of the day, but I think he's in the lead. Interesting note is Britt Likens has the exact same duration on intake and exhaust, and I think even the exact same lift. Different lobe family, his lobe separation is different from Joe's. It's actually wider. Which is weird though, if you're looking at just that, that's the reason why you really can't, because I've tried preaching in videos, but whatever. Because if you look at number 2, the one that's in second place, he's got a wide LSA compared to the others. There's more to it.
Yeah, I would think, your lobe overlap is going to be pretty critical. If you get it too wide, then, you're not going to get enough draft. And if you get it too close, you're going to get too much reversion. So kind of difficult. Oh, here we go. Bomb drills. We heard that school desk will protect everything from nuclear blasts to tornadoes. I learned when I lived in California, you don't want to get under the desk, you get next to it. So when the ceiling falls, you got a little air pocket to hide in. If you're under the desk, you just get squashed like a bug. Bottles show up intact. There was another guy who said hi, but he went off the screen and I can't.
That's all right.
Can't scroll back because I don't know how to work a camera. Oh, after all the trouble, will you ever do this again with, say, a small block Chevy? I don't think they would ever do a small block Chevy because you got to pop the manifold.
Here's the thing. If this went successful, this was the plan. If this went successful, there was no problems, and I think we're about halfway done right now, I would want to do another one. And there was a couple of plans I had. One of them involved, I love working with Dunworth, obviously, but Tom Beek from 3B Performance, he actually said, I wish you were doing this because we could have done it there. And the reason why that would be different is because he said we could drill and tap the head and put the pressure sensors in there. Then you could actually measure how much pressure was in the cylinder for each different camshaft as it was running. That's a neat test, so maybe next time on something like that. I probably won't do an LS again. What I'll probably do is either small block Ford or a big block Chevy. However, I thought about this one, and I am thinking about maybe doing an intake manifold shootout or any porter, and I might actually enter that one. I will lose, I don't mind telling you. We might do something like that on the LS. Keep everything else the same and just switch intakes. See what happens there. I've done that on a small block Chevy in a way. These don't take other people's stuff. But that's another idea for one. You might say, why don't you do one with boost? I actually thought about that. So I was like, maybe let's just put a turbos on it and see which can is actually better for turbos and whatnot. Here's the thing. You can make a can make really good power with turbos and destroy your valve train, because if you open the exhaust valve too early in the cycle and whatnot, it puts so much stress on that valve train it just breaks. Yes, it can make more power, but you can also break your valve train. So that test would really be only in how durable the stuff was. And the idea of breaking stuff just doesn't appeal to me, but it'd be neat.
All right, you're getting a lot of people coming on now because things are flying by so fast I can't keep up. But I did have a thought. I would love to see a test, and this is from the dumb barbecue guy who's 62 and likes street driving and burning tires more than anything else. I would like to see a test with either an LS or a small block Chevy where you have to have a minimum 400 foot-pounds of torque, minimum 400 horsepower, but then whoever wins is the one who has the best fuel mileage at those numbers. So who can squeeze the most power per pound of fuel, basically.
I'd only be interested in that if I could do it like a fuel injected versus carburetor, because I know that's a myth about the fuel injection gets better mileage. It's only how it's tuned. The carburetor can match it, I promise. That's the only way I'd ever do that one. All you have to do is put a scale underneath the. We have a jug we use for fuel that sits outside this room. You don't let the fuel in the room here, so you get fire hazard. But if you put a scale underneath it and you made the run or run time, you could actually weigh the fuel before and after and know exactly how much you used. Oh, Gary's back. You feel it.
Now we can finally shut up and we don't have to talk to you guys anymore, which is kind of our preferred method of operation.
Let's just hope it works and there's nothing else.
And you can't get Gary to talk unless you put a cattle prod to him.
That's it.
Actually, Gary, help a talker. He loves talking all the time. You should totally call him up. That's what Michelle would say. I want to chat with Gary. I'm joking. He hates that. That's why he has other people. There are people who actually work here for him, and they're the ones that answer the phone. Great. Smart move on his part, by the way. Other people answer the phone so he can work.
Try that phone.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's on.
It's on.
Yeah, because I got the O2 sensor on.
Good.
Well, I turned it off because I think it's actually still grounding.
Probably a good plan too.
We pick up that cam while it's in there. I see it on the ground. real quick before he hammers that. John Elford just did a 659 on horsepower and 557 on torque. He's not an elite, but that thing is, his averages are good and his peak powers. On to Brian Salters is next. Go ahead. Excuse me.
Bunch of standard kind of comments, good numbers, sounded strong, blah, blah, blah. 670 is possible, but would be at the expense of a lot of
No.
under the curve power. Oh, apparently not, according to the pro.
670 probably is not going to happen. Maybe if it does, there's two cams that might have a chance, but I doubt it. It'd probably be like a 662, 663, my guess.
I think Comp Summit and others will have a new catalog next spring.
I doubt that. Small potatoes.
Salter is another great guy. Yeah, I never met the man, but I've seen his videos. I agree.
You're welding on intake. You're welding on intake with that power.
Pretty fried.
Just made a scorch mark.
John Elford says, sweet, I'm happy with that.
Good job, John.
Oh, yes, we do need Jeopardy music for the runs. We also need a leaderboard, but that requires technical expertise that none of us possess.
Probably could have that, but I can't do both at the same time. You can see we're flying.
I want to do one like they did on, what was that, British car show? Yes, this is cool. It is great being here in person. That's why I brought the barbecue. I bribed my way in. Yeah, Gary could charge money and put a little grandstand. People could watch while he makes pulls. Barbecue ribs, you bet. I also do these pork belly banh mi tacos that'll knock your socks off. Would honing the balancer to make it slip fit, make the cam change quicker and less wear and R&R on the balancer?
I'd say he's getting off pretty quick.
Yeah. Therapy specs, barbecue sauce, pinion gears, and cam with TDC pointer.
You ready?
Oh, yeah.
Still got this with that. Let me know when.
Go ahead. Yeah. One more. That's good.
Everyone next week will be thinking differently after this.
I doubt that. People are still stuck in their ways. You could show them something, they still won't believe it.
That is a fact. Oh, here's a interesting one. How is this fair comparison when no tuning is being done for each cam? I think that's the entire point, guys.
Well, if you look at the fuel chart, when you get this thing, you see they're all between 12.5 and 12.8. That tuning stuff is meant for someone that's selling tuning services.
Yes, that's right. It was Top Gear, Alan. We could sit around making fun of people. Somebody just dropped 20 bucks, apparently. No tuning is the most fair way. Tuning introduces variables. Absolutely correct. You guys look like true professionals, according to Chevy RC.
Looks could be deceiving.
We're not true professionals, just play them on TV.
This is Brian Salters. He's up.
Straub, you are absolutely correct. If a cam is off, it may have an advantage over a cam that is spot on. Lone watcher is eating bluegill and watching. Bluegill sounds good, but I'd rather have some soft shell crab. Thanks for the response. No, not trying to disrespect. Just wondering is all. That's from Mitten Made Muscle. No problems. The dots, this is from Brian Taylor. Yes, timing chain are far apart from the top to the bottom. Look closely. I'm for the red meat side, says Grand Pito Vic. Got to get me some red meat. I'll look at it. Pork is your appetizer, beef is your main, and either fish or chicken are your dessert. Does anybody out there like pork belly? Deer backstrap. Beef, beef, beef. Yeah, if you guys have never got a chance to try feral pork over store-bought pork, you're missing out. One of the great advantages of living in Oklahoma or Florida, feral pigs. Pork belly, burnt ends, meat candy. You realize we're hijacking this video for food over cars, right? First, we're going to talk about burning some meat, then we're going to talk about burning some tires. Do those heads use the offset rockers?
Yes.
Yes, they do. You hunt hogs all here. When I was a kid, we hunted hogs with dogs.
Maybe
course
that
we-
with coyotes.
Of course, we had to do it on state land, so we had to watch out for the popo. Don't tell my kids I said that. They think I'm a saint. Grandpa Vic, you shit a couple of wild hogs. I think you had a typo there. Didn't get a chance to eat it, you missed out. You would catch them live, put them in pens, fatten them up with a little bit of corn, slaughter them. The ones in Oklahoma eat so many peanuts, you don't have to do that. We're getting recipes here. Butter maple syrup. Sounds good. OMG, is that a V8? Lone Rancher, nice one. Eric, it's saying the next live stream will be how to port a dart on eagle head.
Not gonna happen.
He's no Superman.
I'm glad someone remembers the ending.
And we currently have people crapping themselves from laughing. Okay, what cam should I put in my Tesla Model S? Well, first you've got to modify your flux capacitor. That's critical. Alan Tony wants put the cam in a boat. He needs boat cam information. And Mike's Automotive is porting junk E7 heads right now, and he's cracking himself up. We do like to torture ourselves, don't we? I got a set of smog heads from an 82 Chevy. I was thinking about trying just 'cause. I don't have a crap in my life. Gabby Sinati says, are you going to run this shootout yearly or other test?
Maybe. It definitely won't be in the summer. It's too hot.
I think if you guys pony enough, you have a choice. Is Salter next?
Salter's up on this one.
Salter's up. He's in the box. Ooh, we've got 180 folks watching and only 90 bucks. Hey, that's a twofer or a halfer.
Like a government job.
Oh, okay. B-Dog, I'm liking this new TV series, Horsepower and Hickory. Grandma Vic likes pork and fish. Bring the beef. I'm actually doing homemade pastrami. Brought it to Eric. She had stringed me up by my huevos.
That wire is still
Why do you feel what?
That wire is still smelling.
Oh, I'm sure you would have burned it. Chris.
I'm glad you guys are asking questions. They pissed at me when I asked them. Porting and grilling, good concert. Call it milling and grilling. We'll take that under advisement. Marcus, it's possible I could win this competition if it stayed on the keyboard. That's why they're doing it. What did DV score? He hasn't been tested yet, has he?
He has been.
He did.
He's not in the top 3, I can tell you that.
He's not in the top 3. Adrian, mill your cast iron pan. I do the same thing if they're lodged. They come rough as crap. But if you get older ones that are good castings, you don't. Also, never use vegetable oil when you're seasoning your cast iron.
Tell me why.
Because vegetable oils are essentially industrial waste, so why do you want to poison yourself? Use natural oils, fats, lard, tallow, schmaltz, olive oil, God, anything but a vegetable oil.
How's it look like industrial waste?
Because it comes out of a refinery. They started, Crisco is basically cottonseed oil that was used as machine oil for lathes and money from it. So they perfumed it, sanitized it.
Bowls for the
I'm gonna grab 2 from right there.
shit. One out of order. There's one. Found one. Right there. That's who's on that one.
Alan Tony says he plays YouTube in his shop and you're being watched 24/7. Sounds like a stalker to me.
I need to make 12 cents a day. You know, they have that feed the children thing.
Hey guys, let's get that up to a quarter a day and he might be able to soda or something. Bubble gum. Oh, Mobile 2 on cast iron skillets. That sounds about right. Crisco, Mobile 2. I don't know what much of a difference. Lard is best for seasoning cast iron. Olive oil is next. I agree.
Talk that over, please, first on this one for sure. That was Brian Salter. He's your new number one as far as peak power. His peak power was 668, so someone might actually hit 670. And then his torque, 88. As far as averages, no. He's slightly behind John Elford that just ran as far as average. And John's behind GPI and Joe. So at this point, I don't know who's going to lead because remember, it's the top 4 positions. So Brian Salter holds 1 for one of the positions. He didn't hold the torque. That's Carroll. And Joe Carroll still got the other 3. So I think Joe Carroll's still winning. But this one's definitely the best peak right now.
Somebody just sent you $20 there, Eric. He says, thank you. Didn't hear the numbers, Grandma. He's coming, he's coming. Don't get your panties in a wad.
I asked you a question. This one might take just a second because Gary has to go take care of some business stuff, as in he's got to check on customers, like trying to get pistons for something, which if you know right now, good luck. Good luck. 4 to 6 weeks. It's the only thing he's waiting on is pistons or something else. So this one might take like, I don't know, 5 minutes longer. The question, though, I'll try to answer as I'm working.
Apparently they're having problems with stream quality. They're suggesting you may need to restart the live, see if it clears it up. Looks fine on this end, but you know, we're not on the phone. An antenna.
Wow. I can't fix the technical stuff. I don't know, man.
Eric, not the IT guy.
Ryan, I saw your text. If you're the 670 guy, maybe, and I have to say now, NK Performance hasn't come yet. I don't know. I don't have any dog in this hunt or nothing, but still, theirs looked good. Looked really good.
Rough screen quality, robotic voice, and dropouts. You know, if the phone is recording this as well, you know, he can probably repost and with a cleaner version, but who knows? Just repeat numbers, please.
668, 547, I think. But I'm looking for him.
Chris basically says if we take a break, restart the camera or refeed.
All right, I'm gonna do that then.
Yeah, it's late October, pushing, what, 80s, 90 degrees in Oklahoma?
90 today.
90 today.
I think I'm gonna restart that live for you.